Hello and welcome to the Fashion Shed. So I'm setting myself this challenge. I'm going to create this vintage Chanel outfit in 2 hours. So I'll show you exactly what the process is that I go through. It's a pretty good block. It's pretty simple, but what I want to show you is how I create this texture, these buttons, this leather braided trim around the edge. Okay, let's step over to Clo and get the avatar. Haven't started the clock yet. Once I put the avatar in, that's when I start the clock. Okay, so 2 hours. Okay, I'm going to use the single-breasted jacket block because the shoulder on the Chanel jacket is quite structured. Although I don't need any of the center front or the shaping, this is a pretty good start. The shoulders are one of the hardest parts of a garment to create and get right. So if you could start with that, then that's half the work done. Okay, let's do that. See that? So it's got that tape on the shoulder, so it actually holds its shape. I'm going to change the pose so that it gets a more regular shape and I don't have to account for that shoulder being up. But okay, there's way too much volume at the back and there's a lot of shape at the front. What I'm going to do, I'm going to strengthen this, and that helps me kind of work on this and get the right shape, and then I can unstrengthen it at the end. But let's just see how it goes. First thing I'm going to do is cut it right across the waist. Rather than trying to delete that shape on the waist, I'm going to cut it here, make everything boxy, and then move it back down. Right, delete all that. Right, let's join all these up. Now this is going to lose a lot of shape, but I can work on this in a bit. Okay, there's so much volume in the back there. I need to get rid of that. So I think we're going to join these two pieces. Let's move that down so it's a smoother line. So much volume, I've got to figure out how I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so I'm going to move the sides in. Let's straighten that up. Let's delete the curve. Still so much volume. This is going to need drastic changing. Let's pull that in a little bit more. At this point, I've got to pull in the shoulders as well, or else it's just going to create far too much shape. Make sure to change that on the front so that the shoulder seam matches as well. It's looking better. Could still do a little bit more though. Let's take that in. And again, change the shoulder seam. That's looking much, much better. Let's make that back straight. Ugh, still so much volume. Okay, let's just work on the front for a bit, because that actually might help, because the front is actually attached at the moment. Okay, so let's raise this up to create the neckline. It's just straight line at the moment, but let's make sure that's stitched together perfectly. Okay, so what I'm going to do, use the curve tool and create a curved neckline to match the sample. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's get rid of the button and the fastening and let that fall and see how it hangs. Currently, okay, let's look at this reference image. Okay, I'm going to take up these sleeves so they're a bit more cropped. Cut and, well, just cut, don't cut and sew, because you're deleting those bits anyway. Okay, that's looking better. The sleeves are pretty much perfect. That's lucky. Okay, how long have I spent on this so far? 20 minutes. Oh my god, I've got to hurry up. Okay, let's... got to strengthen it. Let's curve this around. I've ruined this line. There is a seam at the center, not center front. There's a seam at the side here, but I don't know if it goes into the bust. I have a feeling that it's difficult to say by the reference images, but I think it just goes up from the waistband and up to the bust. Okay, this is not working. Oh, I didn't change the length of the back, that's why. I need to make sure the length, the side seam at the back and the side seam at the front need to be exactly the same, obviously. Okay, there's still a weird shape going on here. That is not how it looks on the reference image. I think I need to get rid of this bust dart. So if I delete these shapes, join them together, see how that looks. That's looking better. So I've got rid of all of the shaping. That is looking so much closer. Okay, let's do this on both sides. Let's get rid of that point. Okay, so the bottom edge needs to go out a little bit. Oh, hang on, I've got to figure this out. I'm just smoothing out the armhole for a bit. It was really jagged when I joined those two lines up. Okay. Hold up. Let's get these points sorted. That is looking good. Right, let's bevel these edges. Make sure they're the same both sides. So the binding goes around this. It's like stitched onto the top and it curves around. So I need to figure out a way that I can have a continuous binding. I know how I'll do that. I'll show you in a minute. Right. Okay, that block is looking good. I'm happy with that so far. Still needs a bit of tweaking. Okay, so when I unstrengthen, it doesn't look good. It's because I've got the wrong material settings. Let's see what I can use. That looks a little bit better. Not great, it's not perfect. Let's see if I add a layer underneath, is that gonna, not really. Normally when you add a layer underneath, it kind of fills it in a bit. It doesn't really look, it's just too saggy at the minute. Okay. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so look, there's a seam down that point. Let's get rid of that, that's not really doing anything. Okay, let's, from this point of the bust down to the hem, I'm gonna add a seam, or add a dart, sorry. So add 2 points, join the point at the top, and then just cut that out. Right, let's start the pencil skirt. So using the silhouette of the lady on the 2D side, let's use that as a guide. I'm going to have a dart at the front. Let's make sure that's all on the center front. Okay, let's unfold that. So that's the front panel. Oh God, everything's in the way. Right, move all that. Okay, let's work on these back darts. Jesus, yeah. So move those back darts down because the back darts on the back will be much bigger. Okay, so front, back, get those into position. At this point, I just need to move the jacket out of the way. A lot of people just hide the jacket, but that'll make the simulation hard. So just freeze it and move it out of the way. And move it on one axis so that you can easily just move it back into position. Okay, let's sew all these seams up. Let's simulate that. It's looking pretty good, that shape. Darts at the front are way too big. I need to make those a lot slimmer. So creating these points. I make the darts smaller. Better, but not perfect. Right, I think let's strengthen this panel because I'm running out of time. That's 50 minutes so far. Okay, let's strengthen that, and I've changed the weft percentage stretch. So I'll put that down to 90, so that makes it a little bit tighter. Okay. Just looking at the back, it's got a centre back seam. Good job. Okay, that's good. I'll move this up a little bit. I just select those bottom points and just tap the up key, and that'll increase it. Okay, so let's put the jacket back, unfreeze it, and simulate. That little bit is just stuck underneath, so I need to get that out. But in general, for 55 minutes, that's pretty good. Right, let's get the fabric. So find the highest res image you can of a piece of fabric. Now we need to establish a repeat. So I'm going to try and find the biggest repeat I can. So I'm going to use these three, what would that shape be called? I dare say. Okay, so find those three bits, crop or cut just outside of that, and use the control tool and adjust the edges so the edges all hit the guidelines. So that's looking good. So once that's done, crop the whole image into that window, and that is your repeat. It's really easy. Okay, save that. So you've got to save that image as a JPEG or a PNG, doesn't really matter. So that's your main texture file. Let's export that. Okay, make sure the resolution's high. And then go to the 3D tab, and we're going to create a normal map. This gives it a bit more texture rather than just being this flat, horrible texture. Okay, export that and save that. Then also we want to create some height, so we can have the displacement map as well. Okay, perfect. Let's save that. So you save those all off as separate files, and then once you're in Clo again, you can upload that to your fabric. Right, let's go. Okay, so I've got 50 minutes left on the clock. Okay, that's it. So I've imported that texture into the material, add the normal map, and also the displacement map. Now it doesn't really show on here, but it will show in the final render. That's looking nice, that texture. To be fair, it's so rough that it hides a lot of the imperfections. I knew that that was going to be the case, so I don't have to be super precise. If you've got like maybe like a denim or a twill, it's really hard to find that repeat without it looking obvious. Let's check the render. That is looking pretty close. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, 45 minutes to go, and let's do the leather binding. So I'm going to create a repeat PNG of this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut around this edge quite roughly because I'm running out of time. Okay, let's try and find a repeat within that. Right, here we go. Look, I can now repeat that over and over again. What I'm going to do is create a really, really long PNG image. And what I'll then do is I'll apply that onto a panel, and then I can wrap that around the edge. Okay, so select the edge and offset at 1 centimeter. Do that on all the points that you need it. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to create a line or a panel that's exactly the length of that outside edge. And then I'm going to apply the binding PNG and make sure it's the right texture. Okay, put it here. Let's stitch that in. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because it goes around the curve of the neckline. If this was just a straight line, I would just put the PNG straight onto the file, but I can't because it goes around. Okay, let's do it both sides. That's looking good. Let's look at the render. Yes. Ah, that's looking good. Oh, I'm happy with that. Try the leather texture. No, let's just put it at normal. Okay, we've got 36 minutes. Let's just add this to all the other panels. So it goes all around the back hem and on the cuff and the back neck. Just need to do that quickly. Here we go. Okay, that skirt needs to be brought up a little bit. Okay, button time. So I've got this file where it tells me exactly where the button artwork needs to go. So I took a screenshot of the Chanel button, and then that means I can create a dome quite easily. Let's put them all into place. Looking good. Ah, oh, damn it, I forgot the side pocket. Okay, so let's put lines across here. Just going to do a straight line. I'm not going to curve it. Okay, so 1 centimeter wide. Let's see the length of that. Let's create a rectangle, same length. Let's stitch that on. Move it into place. And that is it. Okay, let's straighten up this artwork. Perfect. And then there's a button underneath. We just need to mirror that. Right, we've got 20 minutes left. Need to change the depth of this because it was too flat. Okay, let's copy and paste over to the other side. Copy and paste the lines first, and then copy and paste the artwork and the panel with the artwork on. You just need to stitch that back on. Okay, and I'm nearly done. Button. Sweet. So I've got a nice new pose. Let's get some better shoes, sunglasses, change the hair. This foot looked mangled, so I'm going to straighten that up. Oh God, what have I done? Straighten that up. And then this foot needs to come down a bit because she's hovering off the ground. Okay, 13 minutes to go. Ah, look at that. Okay, let's change the hand pose. A little bit more natural. Oh God, what am I doing? Look how small that window is now. I'm working. Okay, let's change the. Let's go to the render setting. We've got 10 minutes. Well, 11 minutes to go. Let's change the background color. Let's get rid of the horrible texture. Make sure the shadow and the lighting's perfect. Right, let's get rid of those glasses. She looks silly. Do you know what? Actually, I've run out of time, but for the final file, I'm going to add a black top underneath because I don't think Chanel would just let them walk out topless. I think I'm going to do some AI face images. Let's pick these. So gender, Caucasian, age. Look at that. Look at that. That's pretty good. That is the final render with AI face. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like. Also, the file, I'm going to add this to my Clo3D store. I've changed the wool and the details because you're not allowed to just copy garments and put it onto Clo3D. But if you want to download that, you're more than welcome. All right, cheers. Thank you. Bye.